I was like, it's a golf course. I don't want to do it. It's Augusta National. And at this time, I'm still playing college summer ball, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to have any time. That's going to be a full semester. Like, I can't do it. And Dad was like, do you realize where that is? And I was like, or what that is? I was like, no. And he said, I'll never forget it. I'm on the phone with him, and he said, you know Fenway Park, right? You know Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, sir. It's that, Adam, times 100, but for golf.
Are you ready to take your brand digital? At HitLab Creative, we don't just make content. We build your digital foundation from the ground up. So whether you're launching a podcast, creating scroll-stopping social media content, or building a website that actually converts, we connect all the dots. Visit hitlabstudio.com/studio-time and let's build something that lasts. Because the HitLab is where digital strategy meets data-driven content creation. Here is how Dr. Aaron Pryor changed my life. I used to hide my smile, covering my mouth in photos, holding back in conversations, even avoiding big moments. I didn't realize how much it was holding me back until I got my brand new veneers at Pryor Family Dentistry. It's not just my teeth. It's my confidence, my energy, my entire life. Visit PryorFamilyDentistry.com to book a consultation. Your life-changing smile awaits. Blessings, folks. Welcome back to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. And folks, today's episode is extremely special for me. And by the time I'm done, it'll be extremely special for you as well. Me and this dude go back, I'm sad to say, 30 years at least. Age happens to all of us. It's coming. But the standard of excellence that he has to maintain literally 365 days a year it's absolutely impressive and something that, I don't know, I just want to be around people like this all the time. I'm looking forward to catching up with him. We haven't spent a lot of time together in the last little bit, but I've been keeping up with his journey online, folks. Let me give him a proper introduction. First of all, you can find him on all socials at Adkins31. Folks, he's the sports field manager at Vanderbilt University. Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Adkins. Adam, thanks for hanging with me, man.
Thank you for having me, Nick. Looking forward to it.
Well, dude, we've been going back and forth on Instagram for the last few years. I've kept up with you, literally, my dad has had some of my dad's most entertaining stories in life involve your dad, believe it or not. From being sewn up in the face, getting his face sewn up from a baseball to everything. But brother, it's incredible. Like sports field manager, I want everybody to know what that is. So exactly what is that? What is your job at Vanderbilt? It's a very, very, you're high up the totem pole.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but so pretty much any sports athletic surface, I manage, my team manages. So all varsity sports, with the exception of bowling and basketball, my team is responsible for.
Wow. So, and that includes the golf course here is probably, it's when the first time I played there, that was a big deal. It's that type of golf course. It's in the, it's as that we would say in the country, that highfalutin.
Yeah, it's so I've kind of come 360. That was the place I got my first job out of college, was Vanderbilt Legends. I was a golf course superintendent there. I was an assistant superintendent there, et cetera. Now being on the sports side of it at Vanderbilt, we help out, consult a little, but I don't go there frequently.
Yeah.
But it's still nice to have in my back pocket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how many, when you say your teams, how many teams do you have? Because is there one specific to each sport? That's wild.
No, so I wish. How it is I have a team of 5 to 6 employees, depending upon said season, and we will dictate how many for each team. So basically, a day-to-day, all 5 or 6 are going to each and every team. A little here, a little there. I'm working on getting more, but that's how we currently are.
Man, and you said all outdoor surfaces. So, in a day, in a year,
rec.
including rec. Holy
Student
cow!
Rec.
Okay. How many, like, what's the total surfaces that you have to maintain on a daily basis? Because, like,
So we're averaging right around 22, 24 acres. 11 and a half of those are natural turf.
Wow. Jeez. So, all right, let's put this in perspective for these people. All right, because first of all, at Vanderbilt University, the standard of excellence is extremely high. Right. And you're dealing with every factor, literally, that anybody could ever have to deal with, from human elements to literally like just Nashville weather, which, dude, it rains every day in July now. It never used to do that.
The last several years, it hasn't.
Yeah, it's because like when I was a kid, it snowed in November. Now it doesn't snow till February. It's almost like everything's just getting pushed back. Yeah. But anyway, so you're dealing with all these outside elements, and no matter how much rain or how much snow or how much heat or how much lack of water, you have to have the surface the same.
Correct.
Like, that's wild. Like, think about that. That is incredible. That was the biggest difference playing baseball. Was I remember, when I got to college, Trevecca was the nicest field I'd ever played on. It was just different.
Right.
But then in pro ball, it was like on another level.
Right.
And you see those guys literally like working it 24/7
right.
on those natural surfaces. Make sure it's perfectly smooth, where grass meets dirt, and all the different types of grass based on where we're at in the country. Dude, I'm fascinated with it.
So it quite literally does not matter. You can't dictate Mother Nature.
Yeah.
You have to have it the same. Consistency is key.
Wow. And, geez, man. So I'm fascinated as a person that has a lot of folks that I lead. Consistency and culture and just standard of excellence. Everybody comes from different paths, different problems, different circumstances. And getting everybody to perform at the same level is probably one of the most challenging things that I deal with on a daily basis. I can build it and I can run, but can people keep up with me is usually the biggest challenge. Is that the case for you? How do you get people on that standard so quick, knowing that they get sick, their people get sick, it rains, there's traffic, all the elements that fall in play, and you've got to have stuff ready by the time the teams show up?
Right. I think it starts with recruiting and/or surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals. I'm not going to be successful unless I have a team that believes in me, believes in the philosophy, and believes in the student athletes.
Okay.
We're just not going to be successful unless we're all like-minded. So it starts there. Once you have that, it's not a job. Then it's a passion. Then you take over. Say, okay, Nick's stuck in traffic. I know what to do. That's where, once you build that team to get to that point, then you can have something special.
Well, I want to go back a little bit because I want to talk about how you got there. Because, I'm a few years older than you, and I was on my baseball journey and you were on yours. And it was weird because, like, when I went off to college, all the guys that I'd kept up with over at Hit After Hit and all that stuff was, literally like I blinked and you went from a guy that everybody liked, that loved baseball, but wasn't somebody that was like, that's going to be a D1 athlete. And then all of a sudden I'm like, he's at where? He got UT? I was like, holy cow. And he's pitching? Like nobody saw that. Nobody saw that coming. It seems like, I mean, dude, like, it's just a testament to, one, the people that raised you, but your ability to get in the room and stay in the room when it's time, and your ability to always find a role and fit in wherever it is that you want to go. Was UT like your option? Like, how did that happen?
Quite honestly, without your father, I don't think I would ever have, towed the rubber or pitched. I was a 5', 12-year-old that was left-handed, and your dad is saying, like, you're left-handed. You need to learn how to pitch. Well, here I am trying to learn how to pitch, and Mickey Hyder taught me throughout many years how to pitch, starting with mechanics. I'd toe the rubber at Hit After Hit, and first ball's going into a net, whatever. Mickey's like, trust the process, stay with the process. He saw something in me, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
And how do you see something in a 12-year-old boy, I don't know. I can't. But your dad had a talent to recognize something.
Correct.
And he also had the patience to stick with me. That to me was key. And I also had the drive to keep trying.
The drive was the biggest surprise to me because you were always such a cool, happy dude. Like that was probably like one of the most impressive things because the drive to do that, to watch at 12 you weren't ahead of the game. You weren't like the kid that was leading all the other kids. Like
right.
you just literally passed them on the interstate, bro. Like
right.
and left them behind like nobody's business. And I'm talking like you say it was a long period of time, but it really wasn't in the big
right.
scheme of things. Yeah. I guess I remember started hearing about you at like 16. So walk me through that a little bit because I'm catching up. You went from like, how did you figure out you were going to you threw from down low, right?
Yeah, look, your father actually, and Travis Copley. Travis, I remember telling me I was throwing up top, and then he was like, you might be a little better off throwing from down here. I wasn't having the success, that I wanted. And I tried that a little, went back and forth, and also, didn't grow really until right before my junior year of high school. So I was 5'4" to 6'2" that summer. Wow. And that's when things kind of took off. But had I not had the, structure that Lynn Pilgrim, Travis, Mickey Hyder instilled in me as far as keep competing, then I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, man, dude. Because 12 to 18 or 12 to 16, when was it that you had that big jump? Was it?
It was right when I turned 16, basically.
16. Yeah. So 4 years. I mean, you're just doing it for the love at that point. Got a lot of support at home.
Right.
Again, like you had to see something in yourself. So like my journey was wild because like, I always felt like I was called to do more and be more, but like I didn't know. I was almost waiting on somebody to say, "Hey, here it is," and just hand it to me. And it doesn't work that way. It took me having to actually go out and do it. That was something my pitching coach in AA told me. He said, "Nick, you don't get called up to the big leagues without doing big league things first." Right. So you're not going to get called up because they think you can. You're going to show them you can, and then they're going to call you up type thing. Finding the right health plan can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Backed by over 12 years of experience and more than 20 national and local awards, Team Hyder is here to help you navigate your options and choose a plan that fits your family's needs and your budget. Visit teamhyder.com today to schedule your consultation and get the coverage that you deserve. And but from 12 to 16 is a long time in a young man's life. It's literally like 25% of your life. Yeah. That what made you keep pushing through and working on stuff?
I believe the people I was surrounded by, and one of my coaches, the great Bryant. If you believe in yourself, have dedication and pride, and never quit, you will be a winner. And I remember I used to say that to Mickey, when I was pitching.
Wow.
And I knew that eventually one day something would happen. Eventually, if I kept working.
Got it. So you knew, like, I always knew I was going to do more things than the average person. I always felt that way. I always felt like I was called to do something, whether I used to go to a concert and I'd be like, man, I should be doing something like that. Or I'd go to a ball game, I should be playing out there. I always just felt like the big stage was made for me. And that's kind of what I'm hearing from you right now.
I also, I'm a process-driven guy. So I look at, the end thing. And I've always been like that. I don't know if it was my upbringing or not, but you can't make an A on a test without studying.
That's right.
Unless you cheat. But you got to study. You can't get a D1 scholarship unless you train. You can't.
Got it. Was a D1 scholarship the ultimate goal for you? Like for me, I just wanted to play at the next level. I didn't know how to set targets.
No, it was always next level, next level, next level. I think any kid, obviously you ask any child, what do you want to be? Professional baseball player, professional football player, whatever. So it was always getting to that next level and watching you come back to hit after hit, watching Travis Copley come back to hit after hit. I lived there, I loved it. I lived it. I'm not going to say, as a 8-year-old boy or a 5-year-old boy that Lynn Pilkington is, hounding on that I was the best, I was the greatest. I wasn't, but I wanted to be y'all.
Yeah.
And so to me, it was like, I know I can be like that if I keep working.
Yeah, dude. And by the way, if you're watching with us today, we keep referencing the University of Tennessee, and he's totally wearing a Vanderbilt shirt right now. Did they hold that against you when you went there and interviewed for the job or whatever? Like,
No. We've had some good jokes though. Coach Corbin and I have had some good jokes. It's been great though. I could not be happier. I want to be at Vanderbilt for a long time, and we're doing a lot of good things at Vanderbilt right now. And
Absolutely,
it is a fun place to be.
Well, I don't want to get you in any hot water, but I do want to talk about playing ball at UT and just how that made you the man you are today that Vanderbilt loves so much. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, all right. For me as a player, I was, quite frankly, I was blown away. And I went to a small NAIA school that when I got there wasn't very good, which is why I went there so I could play. But I remember the jump from high school to college. I was like, man, this is a big deal. From college to the minor leagues, it was on a level I'd never seen before.
Right.
I didn't understand it until I'd felt it, until as a catcher, I heard the crack of the bat, and I'm like, that's just different.
Right.
I ain't heard that before. It was a game that was played at a different speed and a different detail than I'd ever experienced, and it was a quick learning curve. Dude, you experienced something similar going from Middle Tennessee baseball, which has always been pretty good, but University of Tennessee, SEC, that's it.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call. I'll say that. Very, very quick wake-up call. The game, so fast. Everyone's bigger, stronger, faster. You might be the best on your team in Middle Tennessee. Well, you have 35 guys that were the best on their team from Texas, Puerto Rico, Alabama, California, et cetera.
Yeah.
So you learn as an 18-year-old boy coming into that locker room, you learn you better work, you better produce, because you got to keep up.
Wow. And so when I first got the pro ball, he passed away last year. He actually played on the Birmingham Barons with Michael Jordan. He hit like close to 300 minor league home runs, had a little big league time, played in Japan. His name was Jimmy Hurst. He was about Aaron Judge's size. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the first people first experiences I had in pro ball was that guy. Larger than life. Everything he did was big, from the way he talked to the car he drove. Like, you know what I mean? He was just massive. And I'd never seen anything like that. Who made the biggest first impression on you at UT as a player?
Ooh, as a player.
And why?
I would say Luke Hochevar. Luke Hochevar was the number 1 overall draft pick from UT, pitcher, Kansas City Royals. I had the opportunity to meet him and talk with him when I first got to UT. I graduated college or high school in May, state championship, then graduation, and then I enrolled. I was too skinny for University of Tennessee's standards, so I had to enroll early, get on a weight program, et cetera, to work out, gain weight. And I got to hang around with Luke Hochevar that first summer, and I saw how a big leaguer acted, walked, talked, how he went about his business. And that's what I want to be. That's the mindset I had. Hey, that's what I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say from a first impression, definitely him.
It's always like I still go back and, success leaves clues, and even the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson talks about he goes back every day to having $7 in his wallet, and that's what keeps him going when you've made $800 million and are one of the biggest well-known people on earth.
Right.
How do you keep that same standard of drive when it's really easy to kick back and get lazy? And so, for me, even to this day, I think about Jimmy Hurst all the time, just because I saw something that like lit a fire under my butt that was like, holy cow, just to stay here, I got to get to work. Like right. that, I'm not on that level. And like, honestly, he made me go on a mission. Every year when I showed up for spring training, I wanted to make sure, because I wasn't one of the biggest guys, that when I took my shirt off in the locker room, it made a statement. Like that was right. important for me.
Yeah.
How often do you think about that guy?
I think a lot about it, but to me, that's the initial, introduction, right? And then from there, you played college baseball, you played professional baseball. You have to surround yourself with either your pitchers, your catcher, whoever you're part of, but then branch out, right? If you are surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals and all of y'all are like, hey, let's go to the cage. Hey, let's get, an extra set of long toss in. To keep up with the Joneses, you got to work, right? And if you're playing at that level, you are competitive. You have a competitive nature in you. And so to me, it was, okay, finding individuals that want to get that extra rep, finding individuals that want to do this, that want to, because at the end of the day, you're trusting a process.
Yeah.
You're building on the founding blocks of it, but you're trusting that, hey, this will work out for me. You're trusting that. But it's not going to work unless you do those steps.
Right. I'm always looking for the magic word, the magic factor that, because literally, I was telling, my son was playing ball in a tournament out at Shelby, and Dad's 77 this year, and he's still running at the same speed he did when he was in his 40s, dude. It's unbelievable. I don't understand it. People are going to expect me to do it, and I'm not going to do it. I have no desire to be in that great of shape at 77, but he's literally out there lifting up drags, dragging fields, sowing grass seed, dealing with the same elements and the same weather, but all that stuff starts in February. What he's doing in July started in February,
right.
And then again in the fall in August or September. Right. And it's and even going back to when I first got into sales and trying to figure out how to just find success in life, be in control of my time and all those things. It was one of the first things that was said to me was Nick, a farmer has to sow the seed to later reach his harvest, and then to be able to harvest, and then in the middle there's going to be weather and fungus and everything in the world that can go wrong, that he's going to have to nurture all that, and you don't get the reward until the very end. Right. And that was one of probably the hardest things to learn, because even now I'm working through some things where it's like, gosh, am I ever going to get there? And it took for me a long time to realize that everything's on God's time, and God don't put you. I don't think God gives you something until you're ready.
Right.
And that's so for me, that's what my wife and I always do when we question, should it take this long? Are we on the right path? It's like, well, we're on the right path. Do we believe that? Yes. And it's like, all right, well, we're not ready yet. So then we just pray, what are we missing?
Right.
How do we get there? What's the next step to get there? And then when you get there, it's always worth it. Yeah. Right. But most people just don't have the patience or the ability to see that far, I guess, in advance, or they don't want it bad enough. What do you think is the reason that separates people like you from really just everybody else?
I would first say upbringing and, being around people that do have faith in you and instill, hey, hard work leads somewhere. You're not always, going to get what you want initially. With that being said, going through certain situations, just like, I was a undersized high school baseball player until my junior year. Once I saw success, then I realized, okay, so trust the process.
Yeah.
Then once you get into college, other things occur, trust the process. And so once you have a couple of those things that stack up on each other, then you can't not trust the process. You'd be a fool not to. And so quite literally, that to me is where the, intertwine from athletics and anything professional for that matter go hand in hand is, without one, you don't have the other, and without building those blocks, you can't succeed.
That's right.
Are you ready to transform your business and unlock new revenue streams? At Processing First, we empower our partners with cutting-edge payment solutions and unparalleled support. By leveraging our extensive network of banking partners, we match you with the ideal bank to ensure that you receive the most competitive rates and deliver an exceptional experience for both you and your customers. Visit processingfirst.com to learn more and join our growing community of successful partners.
When we started working with training insurance agents, that was one of the hardest things I'd ever done. Out of all the stuff I'd done, that was probably, and still remains, the hardest thing I've ever done. And my pastor used to always say that was my ministry, because nobody gets into insurance on a good, they don't come in with momentum. It's usually their last resort. They walk in with nothing.
Right.
And so they're walking in with no money, no self-esteem, literally nothing.
Right.
and you turn a zero into a hero.
Right.
And the first things first is I had to get them to believe that it was possible. And then I had to convince them every single day until I didn't. And I think, when you go back to school, as I'm raising kids, I remember when Ethan graduated kindergarten, they had this huge ceremony. It was like he graduated. It was like he'd won the Nobel Peace Prize or something, And then they did it again at first grade and second grade, and he would come home and he was somebody new.
Right.
And I thought, dude, everybody does that for at least 13 years. Some, if they go to school, they do it for 16 or 17. And then they get a job, and then they stop evolving. They went from evolving every single year to something new, and then they get in a spot that turns into stagnation. Yeah. And then from then on out, personal development is a choice. It is 100% a choice, right? Yep. And there's nothing wrong with the career. You're probably a great place for guys to go get one. So we are here too. But that's, for us, personal development is a big part of what we do, because again, I don't want the guy to just, if you're here 20 years, that's great. But at home, you can't be in the same position for 20 years. You got to grow at home. You got to lead your wife, your kids, and if you're like, when we were hiring insurance agents, there was two people that never failed. Somebody from our military and a single mom. Yep. The single mom didn't have a choice. Right. She figured it out every single time. Yeah. So like you start identifying key characteristics in people, and that's really like what you're looking for. Right. There's a dude that used to work for me that applied for a job with you, and honestly, man, the dude he's a great guy. But there's all these choices and patterns that become a part of you that you just can't get out of. Right. What do you look for in those people? Like, and how do you make sure that I guess it would be easy for you to get in a place of stagnation.
Yeah. So if you want something, which everyone wants to apply for a job, right? Mm-hmm. That's the reason why you applied. You wanted to apply. You only applied because either you had to or you want to better yourself. One of those two things. Mm-hmm. You either wanted to or you want to better yourself. The turf industry is a little different than probably every other industry in that regard. Is when I look at a resume, most professionals would prefer consistency throughout a resume, right? Mm-hmm. Nick Hyder was successful X amount of years at this place, then he moved up to this place X amount of years, etc. Yeah. When I look at a resume for someone with turf grass experience and or wanting to be in this industry, I want to see them jumping around, moving, better themselves. That's what I want to see. Right. So it's a little different, but you can't do that as the individual who's applying. You can't do that unless you have the want, right? So if you want to do it, then you will.
Yeah, that's right.
That's it. And it's very easy to tell on a resume, and very easy to tell after talking to an individual for 4 to 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell.
Man, you sure can. And I think a lot of it too is because that's like, I'll put it this way. When, I get asked a lot, is Ethan going to go to college? I'm like, well, let's say a minimum of 4 years and a certain amount of cash. I want him to treat that time and that money the same way he would anywhere else. So if there's not a plan on or a targeted return on investment on that amount of money, that amount of time, I would say, why would he do that? Right? What's education? But what does that even mean? I interviewed 1,500 college graduates over 5 years. Most common thing that we revealed in those interviews was they could tell me what they went to school for. They couldn't tell me how to apply anything into making revenue or generating revenue or bettering the business. They had a skill that they didn't know how to monetize. Right. And, as a leader too, I literally had this conversation this morning. Like I'll just a little preface it a little bit. So there's this great opportunity literally just happened in the last 3 weeks for it's a new business, and the business is forming while we're getting people trained and we're getting them ready to start. And they've got to quit jobs to come do this, and there's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of unknowns, and we keep catching ourselves. Well, can we? The guys got to they want to put in their notice, respect that, blah blah blah. I'm like, that we literally just, when I was sitting before I walked in today, our problems are to make sure that when it's ready to go, it's ready to go, and everything's ready to roll for them to be successful. It's not our job to figure out how to get there. Right. They got to figure out how to get there when we tell them to get there. And the analogy that I used is when you get called up to the big leagues, you know, they can't say, hey, next Thursday you're going to go. It's sort of like, you know, in 2 hours you got to be at the airport on a flight.
Right.
And you got to be in Chicago tomorrow or New York tomorrow, whatever it is. That means you got to move out of your house.
Yeah.
Like it's like that. That's the price. That's what it costs to do things at the highest levels in most cases, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And you know, just like you guys dealing with weather. Yeah. The game starts at 11 regardless.
Yeah, does not matter. Mother Nature dictates.
Yeah.
But you better be prepared.
Yeah. And I struggle with being a very driven person. Dude, I love, literally, I took it off today because I had to do something this morning. My daughter painted my fingernails last night, you know, and normally I'd wear them in here today and I'd be proud of it. I had to do something with my hands today where it couldn't be on there. But then the reason that I'm saying that is because like I love to go home. Like I can't wait to go home. And the only time I really get pissy is when I expected to be home at 7 or 8 and I had plans with my kids or whatever, and then I didn't make it and I got home there in bed. It happens often.
Right.
And a lot of times one of the ways that I show up for them is I didn't get to go home. Like that's part of it. It's a balancing act.
You're doing it for them.
That's exactly. So what, you know, but to be there for them, right. I'm actually got to go somewhere else. Right. You know, it happens a lot. And it's a forever changing balancing act. But, you know, again, the people that I work with, you know, there's a lot of resources, money and time that goes into a lot of these things.
Right.
And you got to understand where you're at on the totem pole. And, you know, there's just everybody at the highest levels has multiple people counting on them. Yeah. And it comes down to a lot of tough choices. How do you balance it yourself being the leader? Because guess what? If somebody don't show up, they're not yelling at those guys. They yell at you that it didn't get done on time. Yeah, right? You're the one right. You're the one that all the chips fall on.
Right. It ultimately falls on me, and I gladly wear it. I do. I try to surround myself with like-minded individuals and the best I can get, but then you create that expectation, and if you cannot create expectation, you can't progress.
Yeah.
Without progression, you're not going to succeed. So as far as, let's say, a sporting event is concerned, I don't care if you are the most agronomically sounded, intelligent individual in the world and the best planner in the world. You can plan for a year for the national championship game.
Right.
You can. Plan all you want. Yeah. But I promise you, something will come up. Promise you. Whether it be Mother Nature, whether it be irrigation, whether it be a chemical application, something will come up.
Yeah.
How do you adapt? And the biggest thing for me when I get young individuals in, interns and or assistants, hey, how are you under pressure? How do you adapt?
Yeah.
Because you got to know going into each and every game, you got to know going into each and every day, in all honesty.
Yeah.
It's not going to go how you have it planned. You better have a plan.
Yeah.
But then how are you going to respond? How are you going to adapt? Because that's what they're looking for.
Right.
They want answers.
Right. Man. And it's wild, too, because, like, you're not just a football field or a baseball field. It's a multi-use field. Yeah. And like, so folks, think about this for a minute. The average person doesn't understand the scale of things and how many things have to happen. Like, literally, like, they've already announced the Super Bowl here in Nashville for years from now.
Right.
So things are already being done. Why? Because the entire city and community has to be ready. Right. Hotels, restaurants, every single aspect of the people that are involved in this is already being delegated out and going to be taken care of.
Right.
So you deal with that too. There's concerts, like some of the biggest acts on earth are performing on your fields. Yeah. So you're not just doing it for football. You're doing it for all these things. And I can only imagine, like, as a guy that grew up with a man that took care of baseball fields, like, they get pissed if you mess up their grass.
It's
he's like, it took me 6 months to grow that.
I don't like individuals walking on my grass.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. But like, I don't think the average person understands the scale of it, they'll look back and be like, oh, they should have did it that way and that way. You know,
there's so much that goes into it. This year in May, we hosted the ACC Lacrosse conference tournament on our stadium field, First Bank Stadium, Vanderbilt, which, you know, that's a football field, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
we had to paint a lacrosse field on said football field.
Yeah.
To host this conference tournament. Well, that night at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, when the trucks finally arrived, was the decking for the Eagles concert. Well, we had to remove the paint prior to that.
Oh, wow.
So you have to take off all the paint, then you have the decking, 2 or 3 days of decking, then a week of building a stage, etc., all on that field while we're still hosting baseball.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a lot. And you can plan, like I said, for a year.
Yeah.
But something will go wrong.
Man, like, all right. So how long have you been doing this? And how long have you been doing this position? Then how many years did it take? Because I wasn't ready to have a kid when I had my first kid. I wasn't ready to have my second kid.
Right.
You know, you're never ready. The best things in life, you're never truly ready for, right? So like even selling insurance, people are like, well, we want insurance, maternity on our policy so we can have a baby. I'm like, you want to pay for that for maybe 2 or 3 years before? I mean, like my wife and I tried for our second child, our daughter, for literally like for 6 or 7 years. That was something we were trying to do. It took that long.
Right.
You know, so how long did it take you to get where you were the right guy for the job? And then but first, how long have you been in the current position?
Been in this position at Vanderbilt for coming up on 2 years now. And previously, I was a golf course superintendent around the Middle Tennessee area, several different golf courses here.
I was amazed at that, by the way.
I loved what I did. It's fun. There's a respect for golf that I don't think people quite literally comprehend, because you have different varieties of grasses, different heights of cuts, different, you know, you're managing a green in opposition to a rough, you know, it's people just, it can't comprehend it.
Even the way the direction grass lays change how it rolls and everything. Yeah.
Depending upon how you chip, etc. Like it's there's so many things that go into it, which is fascinating to me. I'm a grass nerd. I love it. And so I did that for 14 years, and this opportunity came up, and I got into sports turf originally. So I went to University of Tennessee, studied turf grass management there. I was one of the only, I guess, individuals that, you know, goes to school and on day one you already have your major picked out. That's not common.
Yeah, I didn't. I still hadn't picked out my major.
Right. It's just it's just not common. I remember taking the ACT for the first time in high school, came home, and I was like, Dad, Mom, you know, there's a little bubble sheet that you fill in what you want to be when you know, grow up or whatever. I was like, they didn't have a greenskeeper on there. So I just wrote it in on my ACT. It's like, well, that probably didn't scan too well.
Yeah.
But like I knew I wanted to do turf grass, and
cool.
I thought I wanted to do sports originally. So I went into my major, you know, honing in and focusing on sports turf, not golf. Long story short, I had an opportunity to be an intern, have an internship at a place called Augusta National. And I remember calling my dad. I was a junior at the time, and I called my dad, and I was like, hey, Dad, I got this internship opportunity.
Yeah.
Where? It's Augusta. He's like, what? I was like, it's a golf course. I don't want to do it. It's Augusta National. And at this time, I'm still playing college summer ball, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not going to have any time. That's going to be a full semester. Like, I can't do it. And Dad was like, do you realize where that is? And I was like, or what that is? I was like, no. And he said, I'll never forget it. I'm on the phone with him, and he said, you know Fenway Park, right? You know Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, sir. It's that, Adam, times 100, but for golf.
That's right.
And I was like, wow, okay. So that's originally what got me into golf.
Wow. So you mentioned Yankee Stadium. One of my buddies is Casey Dykes. He's one of the hitting coaches for the Yankees this right now.
I played with and against Casey.
Dude, he's a great guy,
awesome,
right?
Dude.
Great guy. He's been on the show a couple times. We did we went to a Yankee game last year, and literally he got us in, and we got to walk out through the tunnel on the surface at Yankee Stadium, just like the players do. I remember like we were walking through the tunnel, and it dawned on me like what was happening. So I yanked out my phone because I wanted to be able to remember that view when you walk out, and then bam, it appears. When you at Augusta National, like that is the Taj Mahal of golf. That's it. That's the highest standard right there, right? So it's kind of cool you didn't get it, because sometimes people cave under the pressure when they realize how much pressure's on them,
right?
In that moment. Yeah. So that might have been a blessing a little bit right there that you didn't get it, because like, dude, that's a hard room to stay in.
Yeah.
Like, if you get in the way, I'm sure if you get in the room for 2 seconds, they're like, get that kid out of here.
Yeah. Very. Yep. It's a one of those things that's a blessing and a curse in that manner. But yeah. It was a great opportunity, and it forced me to get out of a comfort zone that I thought I wanted to, repair clay mounds. I wanted to have the best clay infields and dirt infields. Well, now, look at it. The collegiate game at least is changing to synthetic.
Yeah.
In opposition to college football right now, everyone's trying to convert basically back to natural turf, but baseball, because of the demand and, the summer camps and your son plays a lot, there's a demand for baseball now.
Yeah.
I'm a baseball purist that loves, natural turf and chalk, right? But had I not experienced that golf side of things that forced me out of my comfort zone to realize, hey, that's where my love and passion is, then I don't think I would have ever known.
Whoa. Check this out. Some of the world's biggest success stories started with nothing. Just grit, hustle, and a story worth hearing. If you've got a story that people need to hear, this is your shot. If you've been through the fire and came out stronger, you belong on this show. Email management@nickhyder.com or comment or DM the word Hitstreak to apply. The Hitstreak is where rags to riches stories have been told, and the next one could be yours.
Well, again, that's kind of the whole point was, and then you're aware. Your awareness is very important.
Right.
Whether you love him or hate him, the president of our United States right now, they say he's the most aware person of anything on earth, of anybody on earth. He's aware of every little tiny detail. Just at the further up I get and I get around those people, you realize that they're just aware of every little thing, every little detail of around them, in front of them. What's coming down the road and everything else. Teaching my son how to drive the last 2 years, that was the biggest thing. Is like, dude, I don't care what you do. I care about what everybody around you is doing, and are you aware of what they're doing? Right. And can you kind of see those things as it happens? So, man, we could go on and on about those things, but like it's just like you said, and even then most people would say, dude, synthetic. Well, there's nothing to do. Are you going to be out of a job soon?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
And
so
that is the most common thing you get, and I would tell those individuals that you do, if not more, but equally as much work to a synthetic field.
Yep. So now you just have to have
it's
twice
a different
the knowledge.
type of work.
Yeah, it's
right.
Two different types of knowledge.
It's a different learning curve. Yeah.
All right. So, dude, you have a slew of stories, and I want to over the years. All right. So I want to go back. There's some things that stand out. I want to know the worst thing that ever happened to you and that you can look back and laugh at. I want to know some of the coolest things that you've ever done. Obviously, the Eagles are my favorite band of all time. When you work out when you're in charge of the facilities that they're running at, I'm sure you could pretty much get you get a lot of great access. You get a lot of great access. So, folks, I can't give out his phone number. You're not asking him for tickets anywhere today. All right. So, all right, dude. So, talk to me about what was the first emergency 911? This is life changing if I don't get this right situation that happened to you. And what was it, and how'd you get through it?
So there was a time. I'm not gonna say the golf course. It is. It's a Nashville. It is a Nashville local private golf course. An individual underneath me. We were spraying a foliar wrap on our greens. Right. An individual mixed up glyphosate. It's an active ingredient Roundup in the tank.
Oh man.
Yeah, and started spraying these greens. And a greens at a private club are anywhere from $2 to $4.5 million investment. Not fun, right? That's my job. That's my livelihood. I saw a container and I immediately started calling. They couldn't hear. So as soon as I got out there, I realized what was going on. I started running irrigation, and you can actually utilize charcoal on your greens to kind of buffer with the pH of the soil to relieve the herbicide. So I'm calling everyone and anyone who's got charcoal, etc. We ended up all right.
So they're spraying killer
Roundup
on the greens,
correct,
by accident, which and everybody's done it at least once. Even a guy that my dad's a groundskeeper and is anal about it. So even like my yard has got to be pretty dialed in. And I used to do it by myself. And I remember the first time I put too much fertilizer, like I put too much, not seed and stuff, but like I killed it. It was brown. It looked like hay for about 3 months in the middle of summer, where I just burned it up, where I'd put too much on it. and I didn't know how to not do that, not get it off.
It's and that goes into a misconception, right, about the turf grass industry. It's what you just said. You're an intelligent man because you said, I don't do it myself anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So the more you learn, the more you realize, hey, there's someone out there. There's a professional out there that knows maybe more than you. There's always someone who knows more than you.
Yeah.
Utilize it.
That's right. That's right. So relationships are a big part of your world. I guess people come and go to, and again, like we were talking about just how it seemed like it used to get colder in the year here, and get warmer earlier in the year than it really than it does now. It's almost like everything's just shifted 2 or 3 months. It used to always rain in the spring, and it was drought in the summer, and now every time I call my dad, hey man, how's it going? I'm trying to get these games in. Been out here working fields all day, trying to get games in all the time, which is another reason that he's got to have turf, because you get to play.
Right.
You get to play, and every sport, weather affects them differently. So in baseball, it's a lot. Rain affects the game a lot more than it does in football.
Right.
Right. So that's another big thing too. So talk about who's some of the biggest people that made the biggest impacts on you and your professional journey after you got out of school, and do you still talk to them today?
The biggest golf related would be Joe Kennedy. He's a Hall of Fame gold jacket wearing superintendent. He gave me my start, got me in this industry, and was a mentor for me. He's still around. He just retired actually from the Grove and Firefly new course. He consulted with the new construction over there.
Grove's a hard one. I hate that course.
Yeah,
it's nice. I can't. It was my ass.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
but he's the reason I learned what golf was. So I had never ever until my junior year of college stepped foot on a golf course. Not one time. I played baseball, and never. My dad never golfed. My brothers never golfed. No, none of us had ever golfed. So he taught me what golf was. So I will have a love and respect for that always. From the sports side, it's the people that taught me how to play sports.
Yeah,
because that's what created my love and passion.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, top 2 or 3 coolest events that you're like, heck yeah, we're hosting it. We're going.
I would love to host a playoff game. I would love to host a college football playoff game. And I thought last year we had a great season.
Yeah, I feel like they should have had it.
We had a great season.
Clark called all that on before we filmed our episode last year. He told me everything that was going to happen except for the fact that they didn't get the bid.
I saw. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
Great season. I would love to host.
That's cool.
It is tough. It's very tough. You better be prepared for,
because you don't get to enjoy it. It's not like you get to go in the owner's box and hang. You're working it.
You enjoy it after the fact.
Yeah.
You work. The event happens, then that's more stress for you because, you know, your heart's just pounding, racing. Something's going to go wrong, something's going to happen, etc. Your phone's ringing off the hook. Once it's done, then you look back on it, and then you're proud you did it.
Yeah.
But the lead up, the build up, that's that initial work.
Yeah.
But afterwards, that's what you're proud of. So I would love to host a college football playoff game.
Yeah. Coolest concert or non-sporting event that you've hosted?
I would have to say the Eagles.
Yeah.
Seeing the Eagles, and my parents actually got to come in, and that was special.
Cool. Yeah.
So mom and dad got to come in and see them, and they're big.
Don Henley's my
big
hero.
fans. Yeah.
God.
My mom loves Vince Gill, and her getting to see him and everything is pretty special.
That's incredible, dude. That's incredible. It's all about access. That's what makes life fun. That's what makes a lot of stuff worth it. Where do you see yourself 10, 15 years from now? What's this all leading up to? What's your dream? How do you know when you've made it?
I don't know if you ever know if you've made it. I think if you think you've made it, that you've become stagnant, or I guess when you can rely more on what you've done versus what you're gonna do, that's how you know you made it.
Yeah.
But I would love to continue doing what I'm doing. I have a passion for what I do, and it involves some of the background from athletics. Competitive nature. You want to be the best.
Yeah.
You want to succeed.
Yeah.
And it gives you someone to root for, you know.
Right.
Rooting for other people helps me.
Yeah.
And so I'd be perfectly fine with doing what I'm doing right now 10 to 15 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So is there anybody at Vanderbilt who's an unsung hero there that this would be a great chance to just give them a shout out, or anything like that?
We've got a lot. I'd say the hardest working individual at Vanderbilt, his name is Tom Howard. He's the Associate Athletic Director of Facilities. He manages a lot, and a lot of individuals, and it's a lot of work, but he is probably, if not the hardest worker I've ever met.
Yeah. Anybody? Who else?
Oh, anyone and everyone related to a coaching staff.
You have to have a relationship with all of them, I guess.
Right.
All the coaches and everybody. Yeah.
And that I'm so blessed because I've known Coach Corbin since I was high school, recruiting, etc. He treats me a lot different now than he did then.
Yeah.
But I learned more by watching him day to day.
Yeah.
Than I could ever, either at school or the lessons that I take from just how he handles a loss, how he handles this, how he handles that.
Yeah.
So I'm blessed to, and that's not just him. That's quite literally, Coach Clark Lee is fabulous in that. But if I have the opportunity to be around these individuals day in and day out, so why not learn?
That's right. I'll just stay on Coach Corbin for a minute. So one, there's sometimes you just see people that just do things at a level of excellence that just stands out, and he's always one. I think he's a subject matter expert on everything he touches. He's an unbelievably profound thought leader. His ability to think through things that not just from a baseball perspective, but from a life, business, everything perspective. Everything has meaning. Everything has meaning. Every little detail. One of the coolest things is when he came here to be on the show. Well, I need to bring him back. I'd actually like to do it on site. So that'd be cool. But I'm gonna hit him up. But when he came in, the first thing he said is he walked in, and he was like, "Nick, everything's in a perfect spot." Yeah. And I was like, "That's right. That's big for me. That's always been a big thing for me. Everything's got to be perfectly in its spot on time." And we talked about that a lot on his episode. That is, to me, when everybody that I want to be like or is at the levels I want to play at, they have that attention to detail.
Yep.
They have that attention to detail. As I'm raising a son, that's probably like the biggest obstacle in life right now. You
learn that though. You progress. You learn that attention to detail is something that you quite literally can be told, but you don't comprehend. You can be told what attention to detail is, but until you're actually the one in charge of said whatever attention to detail, then you comprehend it.
Yeah, that's that awareness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I'll be like, how can you not? I remember a couple of years ago, he was sitting there. He was sitting there. We were watching something on TV. He was eating pizza on the couch, and I looked over at him and I said something, and I'm like, "Can you not feel all the ranch dressing on your face right now?" Like, you know? And he was like, he had no idea because obviously he would have did something about it if he did.
Situational awareness.
Yeah, situational awareness. Yeah. All right? So that's kind of what I was leading to as we kind of bring this episode to a close. Situational awareness is the difference between pro and everybody else.
Right.
It's ability to be aware in in pretty much any given situation. Yeah. I'm still like, where are the resources? What are they? That's still a mystery to me. It's almost like that's probably building people, investing in people, especially people that hadn't made it yet, but they will. That's probably the biggest thing to understand is can you read people, and are you aware of all the situation and everything at hand, right? What is the secret? Like, do you have any secrets or tips or any resources that we could, because again, I'm still looking for them.
I think first and foremost, surrounding yourself with like-minded that want what you want. But anyone can say, hey, Nick, I want what you want. I want, you can preach a vision all day long. Yeah. And people will agree to you. Will they act or respond in that manner? I don't know. But you can preach it. It doesn't matter if you're preaching or not. Yeah. Right? What matters is the consistency to me.
Yeah, that's right.
Because if you keep doing it, you're going to either A, find the individuals that want it.
Yep.
Or you're either B, going to get rid of the ones that don't, Yep. And so if you keep preaching, though, and you keep a vision that we all can work for, then what's better? It's a team.
That's right. So. Well, dude, again, man, it's been, as a guy that's been a couple years older than you, you're not looking down on anybody, but it's just like you just see people in their path and just seeing, it's incredibly awesome for me to sit here and say like that you saw the person that you are today when, I didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's kind of like the biggest takeaway for me is as I'm raising kids and literally and helping raise other humans is, you're never going to outlive your own self-image.
Right.
And you're literally living proof of that because the person that you became physically wasn't available at an early age. So and I think that's the best path, because if physically everybody can look and they see greatness early, then you don't do that work. You don't do those little things. You don't do the heavy lifting.
Agree.
To get there, because it's been given to you. And I think what makes we're all 100% unique. Brooke Thomas said it best. She said she defines the word impact by when you take your God-given uniqueness and apply it to the marketplace.
Yep.
And it's such a cool thing, man. And I can just imagine, it takes a special person to want to get into any type of groundskeeping.
It does. Well, and/or a weird one. It does. It's a very frustrating and hard job, but extremely rewarding. So.
And a lot of people may not know they love it until they've gotten into it. And a lot of times when they get into it, they fell into it because it was nothing else left. Or it's kind of like in insurance. Nobody stands up on career day and says, "When I grow up, I'm going to be in health insurance."
Absolutely.
Yep. And like I was at rock bottom when I found it. But it saved my life, and it was the foundation to launch everything else that we're doing. And man, again, I can't think of a better place for for a father to put his son than someplace where that attention to detail, that amount of preparation. Those are skills that if you can master those, life's pretty dang fun.
It is. Very rewarding.
Well, dude, congratulations on everything, man. Congratulations on everything. Legends is still my favorite course in town.
Let's go play it.
I'm in. It eats me alive, but that's the one place I enjoy it.
The north or south? Which one?
Both of them. But the south I think is my favorite.
South is my favorite.
I think it's my favorite out of the two.
Agreed.
Just something about
harder.
It where it's harder, but a bad shot's just visually more. I'm happier there.
Course. Yeah, agree.
I'm happy. There's no better place I'd rather have a cigar.
Than
on that, man. Well, dude, congratulations on everything, folks. Once again, check him out on social. Everything is at Adkins 31. the sports field manager at Vandy. You've had multiple titles. I guess you're doing the same thing, but they need more. Like it needs to have more oomph to it. I'm gonna make a call.
They'll change it in a month or two. So.
There you go. There you go. Well, dude, it's again your work. Anytime you're working at Vanderbilt, you're at a standard of excellence. I know you wear that. I know you wear that badge proud.
I do
every single day. So, congratulations on everything, and thanks for the hang, man. It's been awesome catching up.
Well, thank you, Nick. I'm glad to be here.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Adam Adkins. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in to another episode of the Hitstreak. I'm your man, Nick Hyder. God bless.
Hi, folks. I'm your man, Nick Hyder, and I just want to say a quick thank you for all of you, the millions of you tuning into the Hitstreak. We're literally getting the information from the people that have it to the people that need it by bringing on guests that everybody knows and some that not everybody knows yet. Keep listening, keep sharing, and keep leveling up with the Hitstreak.